JPT Studio. Today, build backend APIs, authentication in Next.js, how to create backend API, secure them using verification authentication method in Next.js, what is JWT, JSON Web Tokens for custom authentication, Auth0 third-party authentication solution, NextAuth, Next first library support many provider. At the end of this video, you will easily doing these things. Let's get started. What is Next.js app routing? App routing allows to build backup endpoints inside a Next.js app. You handle backend logic from the submissions, database communication, and user authentication within the same project. Serverless functions, page API, if any, create under the page /API directory become a serverless function. It only run when request via HTTP. No need to set a Express.js or separate backend. You do not need to separate node services like Express or Next. Handle server-side functionality internally. Okay. Now we go for next. Creating your first API route. This file will become an API endpoint. Suppose localhost is 3000 API hello. Export default function handler request and result. Default export is required. REQ is request object. RES response object like an Node.js and Express.js. RES status means 200 JSON message hello API is there. Now sending response with HTTP status 200 and a JSON object containing messages. Point request method to handle get and post etc. Allowed to add conditional if require method equal to post inside the routers. Built in support for the middleware. You can use and build custom middleware for task logically validations, logins, validations, and authority check. Okay. Then API routes example post login. Here page a app place /app/login.js is there. Login router to accept credential. Export default function handler request and response. Status of API routes. If require method equal to post, then check if incoming request is a post request. Usually it's submit form and logical data. Const email and password request body. Extract email and password from the request body using destructuring. Then validations user placeholder for logical example checking user against database. Request 200 JSON token JW. Sending the response for dummy tokens. In real app, you do not generate JW here. Validation for user. Okay. Authentication overview. Purpose is there protective routing and verify users. Second, three popular stages and methods we can say. JWT, custom authentication. You can token yourself and verify them manually by APIs. Auth0, Auth provider, a third-party service handling login, social login, and tokens. NextAuth, first library, a plug and play solution designed for Next.js app, support auth provider and session stringing. This is used for auth overviews. Now, JWT authentication customly. To install this, npm install JSON web token BCYT JSONs. JWT generate and verify token by hand and comparison password. Steps are there. Login endpoints, credit token. Means after verification, the user generates the token ID with the here. You can generate the token ID. Protect router, verify token. Here, decode the token and on private router to verify your ID. Here, third stage, store token in cookies and local storage. Then all the client can be used future requested. If request is needed, that time we can store in local storage. We go for example. Here you can see import JWT from JSON web tokens JWT library. Then you can see const token JWT sign in user ID process EVN JW services experience in 1 hour. Okay, here generate a JW token, payroll user ID, secret your event key, expire in 1 hour. Constant decode JW verification token process and JW secrets. Decode and verification the token using same secret. Return your payload if valid. Okay, in this example you can understand easily. Now we go for next, Auth0 integration. Means hosting and login with social logins. Auth provided to login user interface and handle social auth like Google, Facebook, etc. Social means like if you see that this in any other thing, like you go for Amazon, you have two choices. First choices is there, you can go for Google ID. Second choices is there, you can create a Amazon ID and login password, and then you will create these things. Here three steps are there. Create auth app, registration your app, auth dashboard page. Second, user auth SDK. Install and user for official SDK to integrate login and logout. Redirected user and handling tokens. Auth redirected user back to your app with secret token. Next, auth over token. Okay. Next.js auth NextAuth.js overview. Easily authentication for Next.js. Here, full integration with Next API routes, support Git, Google and credential, Pre-built support for popular login provider. Auth handle sessions with JWT. Do not have manual create and decode tokens. npm install NextAuth. Here install a library Next.auth in your project. You can install directly this way. Then example of NextAuth for setup. Here for setup you can specify page.app.auth next triple dot this is specify routers catch all users by NextAuth. Okay, here import NextAuth from the next and GitHub provider from NextAuth provider.github. Here import NextAuth core and GitHub login provider. Export default Next.auth is there and provider GitHub provider client and client ID and client secrets. Here setup with provider configuration by you using credential from GitHub development console. Okay. It's like you can understand easily, less than time taken. If GitHub you use GitHub, that time authentication is needed. If you directly posted the data from the GitHub, this time we use these things. Okay, session management. Use session hook. React hook to access the current user sessions if logged in. Middleware for protecting routes. You can use middleware to check if session is valid for essential private pages. Import user session from Next.auth React using client component. Okay, you can manage by session management by these two. Use session hook and protect these things. At the conclusion and best practice, use API routes from the custom backend logic. You can handle business logic like Auth, database access, etc. without separate server. Choose your Auth method based on your project need. JWS control Auth0 is simplified NextAuth for each in Next.js. Always secret from endpoints and tokens. Here I will never expose secret keys and send tokens in inquiry string. Perfect service verification when possible. Avoiding dependency, only the client side checking validation tokens of the server. Okay. Do you have any doubt? Comment in chat box. Thank you.